Bloomberg Audio Studios. Podcasts, radio, news.
The Stock Movers Podcast, your roundup of companies making moves in the stock market, harnessing the power of Bloomberg data.
Let's take a look at some of the stocks on the move today. I'm Paul Sweeney alongside Norma Linda, and we're joined by managing editor for Bloomberg Markets Live blog, Christine Aquino. Christine, what are you looking at?
Well, Paul, John Tucker's covered it all, but let's dig in, shall we? Let's start with Centene, which
But you go into depth.
Exactly,
and do the smart
John.
stuff.
But yeah, Centene, ticker CNC, biggest underperformer on the S&P 500 at the moment. Declines accelerating now. That's down more than 36%. And, that is primarily because it pulled its 2025 guidance due really to the rising risk from the Affordable Care Act plans. That company is the top seller of ACA health plans, and legislation around what's going to happen with Medicaid very much up in the air at the moment. Really a sense that it got caught unaware of what's going on there, and so we have UBS analysts cutting its view to neutral from buy on the company again because of this adjustment. And Bloomberg Intelligence also commenting on the potential decline in its credit rating because the surprise guidance withdrawal. They're saying that raises the risk of an S&P downgrade to junk and a potential exclusion of their bonds from the Bloomberg U.S. Aggregate Index.
Yeah, shares are really extending their losses. I see it's down for its worst day ever. And when you look at the broader performance, it's really not been doing too well overall because we see shares down about 42% so far this year. So lots of news to parse through, but what else are you keeping your eyes on?
Well, looking at Tesla, again, ticker TSLA, John Tucker gave you the headlines, but let's dig into some of the potential kind of details there. Again, like Tesla rising 1.1% at the moment, and that is despite the tumble in their global sales. It really is benefiting from lowered expectations. This is what we're seeing at the moment. We have analysts reacting to the news that, yes, sales tumbled, but the fact that deliveries were in line is seen as being a win, and it's also a sign that demand growth is slowing rather than spiraling. That's according to William Blair analysts. And yeah, so it's basically just benefiting from the fact that the expectation for the decline was much, much worse than what we actually got in reality. And so it's a bit of a relief rally for Tesla here.
Well, we heard from Matt Winkler, editor emeritus of Bloomberg News, the founder of Bloomberg News. He's now a Bloomberg Opinion columnist. You put out a column today. I'm not going to say defending Tesla's stock, but just putting in context of what the company's accomplished over the years in terms of stock price performance, valuation, revenue, and earnings growth, saying this thing is still a behemoth out there by a lot of objective measures. So interesting to put that into context. So check that out on the Bloomberg terminal or on Bloomberg.com/opinion. All right, what else you got for us? One more.
Looking at Microsoft, ticker MSFT. So shares not down too much, just down 0.2%. And that's after the news that they are, of course, laying off 9,000 workers. This is the second wave of major layoffs this year. Seems like a lot of that very much focused in their Xbox division. And so that division apparently began informing their employees of the job cuts on Wednesday morning. This is the fourth mass layoff at that Xbox division in the last 18 months. But, we're seeing a bit of a muted price reaction to this, just slightly lower in the share move here, primarily because, it's been well flagged. A lot of investors expecting this.
The Stock Movers Podcast from Bloomberg Radio. Check back with us throughout the day for the latest roundup of companies making news on Wall Street. And for the latest market-moving headlines, listen to Bloomberg Radio Live. Catch us on YouTube, Bloomberg.com, and on Apple CarPlay and Android Auto with the Bloomberg Business app.